All right, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Wangsabibop. Well, my name is Ashley. My cosplay name is Wangsabibop, and today I'm going to be hosting a panel on the art of concept cosplay and why I think everyone should get into it and how it can enhance your cosplay experience. So, give me one second. Hi, Ashley, big fan. How do I get to my next slide? There we go. Okay. So forgive me for all my technological issues. Like I said, I am not the best technologically, but I'm going to try to coast on through here. You guys will have me for about 30 minutes. So yeah, meet the speaker. Like I said, my name is Wangsabibop. I've been cosplaying officially since about 2018. I used to do a lot of dress up before, but I didn't really know what cosplaying was. Or Zoom coordinator is sharing. Thank you. And basically, I'm a content creator slash cosplayer. I do a lot of conventional cosplay, but I also do a lot of mixed concept and just inspired anime outfits and things of that nature. So I'm really gonna explain, just say next slide, and he's got you. Bet. You guys can go ahead to my next slide. Okay. So what is a concept cosplay? I tried to insert a lot of images because the idea is a little bit hard to grasp at first. Essentially, concept cosplay is when you take canon information about a character, things that you know about a character, personality traits they have, likes, dislikes, and you incorporate it into a cosplay that is not necessarily, it's not necessarily canon, but it fits the character. For example, here I have a picture of me. I did this for October Halloweenish. I did a Usopp cosplay, but a steampunk Usopp. So you see I have Usopp's traditional outfit with his band and everything, but I added this steampunk mask to make it, to essentially vamp up the cosplay and make it something different, something unique. And that's what I really enjoy about concept cosplay. It's a way to showcase your ideas and your cute. It's a way to showcase your ideas and your talents and bring forth that individuality into your cosplay, which I feel like as content creators, we're always trying to distinguish ourselves from each other. It is a community and we want to embrace each other, but concept cosplay can really help distinguish you. So we can carry on to my next slide. Okay, so here I have a lot of photos. Like I said, I like photos. I think they help with the process to understand things. In the top left, I have pictures of me at MomoCon 2019 and a Bruno Bucciarati cosplay. And I think when people think of real cosplays, this is what they think of. Something that's canon, something that I bought from a store, I put on, I embody this character. But actually, you see the photo next to it is me and a very close friend of mine. Her name is her Instagram name is Poppy Longlegs, where we took this concept of, hey, if Bruno and Abacchio were to have a night on the town and they were to go out outside of their normal quote unquote clothes, work clothes, I like to think of it as like, it's, you know, JoJo's have such big suits and everything. What would they wear? So we put together aspects of like, okay, Bruno's, I hope I'm not spoiling anybody. I'm so sorry, part 5 spoilers. Bruno is known to have, his stand is called like Zipper Man. It's all about zippers. So I put on some sweatpants that I have that have zipper panels on them. My shirt, it looks like the colors that Bruno wears. It looks like the, even has the gold detailing. So that something so simple as that, to where you can still pinpoint who I am, but it's different from the standard or stereotypical. Or you have my friend Poppy. We all know that Abacchio, if you read or watched part 5, is a big titty goth boy. And she has on like fishnet stockings and a little silk gown because it's an interpretation. Even to the right, I have photos of Usopp. If anybody is unaware, I am a Usopp stan. He is my husband. I love him. I know I'm in the minority. Yeah. But I took multiple photos of my renditions of his outfits, you know, things that he's worn canon that I've recreated via my closet and things that I put together. And that's the other thing that I definitely wanted to showcase is how closet cosplay and concept cosplay really are like two birds of the same feather, two sides of the same coin. They go hand in hand a lot of times. And I think that one reason that I really wanted to showcase concept cosplay and talk about it and bring forth the light to people is I think that a lot of people have an issue getting into cosplay. You know, I know even for me, for example, I always felt like my cosplays weren't real. They weren't professional enough. They weren't, you know, up to snuff because we have this idealized image of cosplay when really it's in the, you know, it's in the word play. And we can go to my next slide. I'm sorry, y'all. I talk fast. I'm a very nervous talker, so bear with me. Yeah, so we get to my slide of why is it important. I really believe that it's normally more affordable to concept cosplay because you're playing up on ideas that you already have, inspiration that you already have, and it really, like I said, it allows your creativity to shine through. And a lot of people don't like a lot of people don't realize they know what concept cosplays are. We've all had those discussions with friends. Like I know me and my friends have this running joke of all of the guys from Bleach. We're like, oh, Ichigo definitely wears butters. Like that boy wears Timbs because he about that action. Renji wears ACGs or polo boots, and Ikaku wears black Air Forces. Or we've heard that like Zoro wears black Air Forces. It's taking all of those little banter type conversations that a lot of weebs, especially, you know, most of us are black people. Black people we love to have those kind of conversations, that dialogue to make the characters more relatable. It is basically taking those ideas and those concepts that we spitball and have fun about all of the time and putting it forth into cosplay. I'm just gonna make sure all of my points got covered. And it's also, I feel like, a fun way to revamp your cosplay. I say that to say, I know if there are cosplayers in the group, there are so many cosplays that I've had that I've bought, wore one time. And it's like, what do I do with this now? I've put all this money into it. Or maybe it's like, I like this character, but as I said, not only am I a cosplayer, I'm a content creator. So it might be like, I like this character and I want to rewear it. I want to redo it, but I don't want to put out stale content. You know, I want to keep my followers engaged. I want my ideas to always seem fresh and new. So it's a cost-effective way to revamp older cosplays that you have. And essentially it's like you have infinite amount of ideas, infinite ways that this whole thing can pan out. We can go to my last slide. Like I said, I'm quick, I'm easy, in and out. So how to get started. I feel like for me, one of the biggest points that I always bring up with cosplay in general, but very much so with concept cosplay, is don't force an idea. You know, I think for me, when I need ideas, when I want to cosplay, especially concept, I just consume content, you know, watch anime, read mangas. You're always going to be getting an influx of ideas. And those ideas that come off the cuff, that come to you on the fly, I even have had dream ideas. I feel like those to me are the ones that come off so natural and the ones that are the most genuine. Be creative, think outside of the box, think of concepts. I think one of the bigger problems I had when I first started cosplaying and concept cosplaying, I still have from time to time, is sometimes I'll have an idea or a way that I feel about a character. And I'm like, man, do other people see this? Does this relate to other people? Are they going to get it, you know? And I guess my best advice for that would be, and with cosplay in general, if you want to feel like, is this character accurate? Is to have that team, to have that group of people that you can bounce off of, that you can take those photos and send to and be like, hey, with no context, with me not telling you anything, do you know what character this is? Can you tell what concept I was going for? Is there anything I could change to clarify, to make that more, to garner a better understanding for you? I already talked about letting the idea flow naturally. I also think going back, it's almost like the last panel that we had, lovely panel, where it's like being able to go back to the drawing board. There have been a lot of times where I had a concept idea that I loved, and in practice or in photos or whatever, I'm putting it together and I'm like, this is not working. And I think in situations like that, I either step back from a cosplay and I'm like, you know what, I'll revisit this with fresh eyes at another time, or maybe just scrap the whole thing in general, maybe try to rework it, tweak it. And I always tell people when it comes to cosplaying, I think the biggest thing is to have fun, to enjoy your cosplay, because when you enjoy your cosplay, people will enjoy your content. And also that idea of anybody, if you can have an idea, if you can relate to something, if you can think something's cool, other people, you can't be the only one. You know what I'm saying? Other people will also feel that way, just because it's kind of how it works, right? And I think also my tips for cosplay would be like, don't, I'm losing my words. Don't feel like, I feel like people think they have to do really popular characters, really mainstream characters. There are a lot of characters that people latch onto that people love. But if you don't have that same love for that fandom or those characters, for example, me, I'm known on my platforms, my social medias, that I love josei. I am not a huge fan of shonens and things like that. I love josei, I love horror. So a lot of the times, some of my cosplays aren't that mainstream. And you would think, I even used to think that I had to do these more mainstream ideas because they're not going to hit, you know, people aren't going to see them the same. But it's actually counterintuitive. I've put a lot of people on the series, or people have started things because I talk about it so much, because I've cosplayed it, because they see a character and they're like, this design is dope. I want to see what this person is about. So I don't know. I really push concept cosplaying when I'm talking to people, especially people that haven't gotten into it, because I think it's such an easy way to transition into the scene, to get into and to find a niche of people that you enjoy, that enjoy the same things that you are, which really for me is what cosplay is all about. I do cosplay because it's fun. I do cosplay because I love the characters, but I also do cosplay because I love the community. I love the people. I've harbored some of my closest and most genuine friendships via cosplay. I'm gonna look at the chat because I am actually Ichigo with the Tims. It's a fact. It's too accurate. Kenny wears foam. Yes, Kenny wears foam posits. I am so glad. I forgot all about Kenny wearing foam posits. And that's the crazy thing. Concept cosplaying is addicting in that way that once you start, you start to see all of these ideas that it's like it opens up another realm of your brain. And I was talking, if you guys were here yesterday for my panel, y'all should have been here. Afrokon was lovely yesterday. Loved almost all the panels. And it opens up this side of your brain. I also think that it helps. There's been times I've been cosplaying for what I think is a decent amount of time. And there's been so many times where I've hit a rut and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm burnt out. I don't want to do this anymore. And concept cosplaying has brought me back, has got me back into the fold. And I think it's so fun, especially when you have that new, fresh idea that you've never seen anybody do. You've never seen anybody take a spin on. It's exciting. It's exciting to put out content. And when you're excited to put out your content, there's been so many things. One of the earlier slides, there was a photo of me as Broly. And actually, could we go back? It's like 3 or 4 slides back. Sorry. It's a photo of me as Broly. I had no confidence in these photos. I was just messing around. It's the second slide. So 2 more back. 1 more. Yes, this cosplay. I had no confidence in this cosplay. All of my close friends know it. All of my photographer knows it. I had no confidence in this cosplay. It was right around the time that Broly was coming out. And literally where the idea of this concept came from, I've had these sneakers my entire life. And when the Broly movie was coming out a couple of years ago, something about it I looked at and was like, these look like Broly. And that idea kind of brewed there for a second. Because I'm like, I don't know what I would do with the rest of it, though. I have no idea. One thing about me, you guys see I have a big fro. I actually recently cut my hair. I have a very, very big afro. It's so easy to do Super Saiyans and characters like that because you naturally have the hair. So I'm like, okay, the hair is a go. I had the shoes. It was brewing in the back of my mind, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the idea completely fleshed out, which is how a lot of my concepts come. And that's why I always say don't push it. So then next, the shawl piece that I have tied around, is actually just a blanket that is in, it's a roommate of mine. Me and him watch movies all the time, and I'm always curled up with this blanket. And I was like, hey, you know what? This kind of looks like Broly's shawl. This looks like the pelt that he wears. And the outfit just slowly came together like that. And once I started putting pieces together, I was like, I literally want to do, what would Broly look like if A, he was a girl, and B, if he was just walking around on the street? What would this guy look like? And then out of nowhere, another concept that my editor, my photographer threw in there is like, okay, you're this rendition, this concept of Broly. What if Broly's your stand? And I'm like, wait, what? Again, the concept sounds so out there. And he started doing the edits, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I, again, still wasn't too excited to put it out. And to this day, I think it's the best reception I've gotten on any cosplay I've ever had. So I always tell people, if you have the idea, run with it, because the internet is fickle. You don't know what's going to hit with the internet. You don't know what people are going to like, especially in regards to cosplay, because that's just the experience I've had. Low key in that concept based on the Broly connect his Shaw matches too. That's dope. Yeah. And like I said, once you get started with it, it just opens up this whole other realm, to the point where I almost only do concept cosplay at this point. When I go to conventions, I tend to do conventional or traditional cosplay, just because it's a different atmosphere. And I also feel like concept cosplay translates a little bit better to social media, because when you're posting photos, you can kind of create the story that you want depending on what photos are paired with it, or how you post it, how you promote it. So I do think that concept cosplay kind of translates a little bit better into conventions. But also, me and my friends are the type that I'll have a daytime convention look and a nighttime convention look, like what we did with Bruno. Daytime conventional, nighttime, it's like more of a concept, because you're just out and about. And you would be surprised that people still can connect those dots and see and know who you are. This Broly concept too raw, and them kicks nice. Thank you. Actually, like I said, I've had those shoes for a really long time. If anybody had any questions, I'm also open to questions too. At this point, I'm just rambling. Um, but yeah, I think one of the biggest issues that people have getting into cosplay is cost, and also body image. And I think concept cosplay helps in the regards of body image, because you're making this concept, because you're making it something that's so close and near and dear to you. It feels more relatable, and it helps you get into the mindset of your character. Because me as a cosplayer, I always want to embody my character's mindset. I don't want to just dress up as this character I don't want it to just be a costume. When I am in my cosplay, I am this character. And I think that can be hard to get into when you first start. And concepts, again, can help that, because it's more relatable. It's something close to you. It's something that's so natural, your own day-to-day life. Like me and these kicks, I'm like, yeah, I walk around in these kicks like I got that rowdy energy every day, just like Broly. Like, who won it? Anybody can get it when I got these kicks on, when I got these jeans on. And it makes it so much easier to get into. Even one can get into like posing. Posing is so much more natural. I think it's a much simpler form of cosplay. This Broly cosplay will always be my favorite, top 3 for sure. So many people that I follow, people that follow me, I still get engagement with this cosplay. And again, I think it's because it's relatable. I think that people can see themselves in it and can relate to it, and also can see those characteristics in Broly in particular. And it also was a thing of timing. This was perfectly timed, right around the time when the movie came out. And y'all know them DBZ fans, y'all say what y'all want about the fandom, they gonna pop out. My question is more about what you said earlier. You said you like horror, but if so, why is Usopp your favorite character from One Piece? Oh, make no mistake, I love Usopp strictly how do I word this? I love Usopp as a character because I think he's so sweet. I think he's so genuine. He's not like, it's not that he's like a favorite of mine. My favorite character from One Piece actually is probably Nami right now. I do love Usopp, but yeah, child, I would have to host a whole another panel. I could have did a whole panel on why I love Usopp and why he's great. I have a diverse chance in that. And also, not for nothing, horror characters are not attractive normally. They're not conventionally written to be attractive or likable characters. What has been your toughest concept cosplay to date? My toughest concept cosplay to date. Give me 1 second. I need to take a look at my Instagram. I've done a couple of looks that, like I said, this one was one that I just didn't vision. My steampunk Usopp, speaking of Usopp, was also very hard for me. He was hard to photograph, and also I felt like I had to rely very heavily on the edits so that I could get across the message of who I was. Because yeah, without being able to see my face for some reason, it made it hard for me to get across the message, even as I was taking the photos. And it also doesn't help that Usopp is one of those characters that's very expressive with his face. Like that's what he's almost known for, and that big nose. So without being able to use my face because I'm wearing a mask, it was so difficult. And also it was very hard to breathe. It was hard to breathe. And there's eye holes in that mask, but they're like graded over because it's a steampunk mask. So it was hard to see as because I'm taking a lot. I do have a photographer, but my Usopp pictures, I'm taking them with a self timer. So I can't even see myself to see if the photos are coming out well. So I had to take a whole bunch. And then I'm like, kind of like this, like, what does that look like? And I'm like, oh, so it's just harder to tweak yourself when you can't see. It was a time. I had a lot of time, a very interesting time with that. And I think personally, my favorite concept that I've done is probably Gordon from Black Clover for a couple of reasons. Love Gordon, A. B, I don't see people cosplay Gordon at all that often. Actually, I can't think of anybody. I'm sure there are people who have done it, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that's done Gordon besides me. And that was my favorite just because Gordon's aesthetic leans closer to mine. Like I love the grunge streetwear. And I also think that that comes through in my cosplay because I concept cosplay. I love grunge. I love streetwear. I live in the city. And I think that comes through in my cosplays because of the way that I cosplay. And that's another, again, I keep thinking of more bonuses of concept cosplay. It's almost a more intimate experience with my followers. It's like because of the way I cosplay and how they see me, you almost know more about me just via my cosplay. Any new concept cosplays in the future? Woo! I have a list a mile long of concept cosplays. I actually have some conventional ones coming as well. I have some Kenma cosplay that I want to do from Haikyuu. I have a lot of, it's not really a concept, but it's a specific divot of like some Bleach cosplays that I have coming up. I'm trying to time out, especially with Bleach coming, some group cosplay. I have some group concepts coming, which love that. But I'm always concept cosplaying. And like I said, it kind of comes straight off the dome for me. I recently got caught up in Haikyuu. So I'm like knee deep in that fandom, and every cosplay I want to do, I'm like, I want to cosplay all of them. And I'm like, I want to do them in street clothes. I want their dynamics. Because like I said, that's really my favorite part of cosplaying is getting to become that character, to take on their personality traits. Oh, and actually, I'm wearing a Bakugo t-shirt. I have some concept Bakugo in mind as well that I'm working on, kind of hashing out in the background. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff coming. I'm very, very excited about. Gordon, yeah, that is right. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Black Clover fandom. I've also done, now that I think about it, I've done a lot of concept Black Clover. I did a concept Charmy before. I've done, my Menchie was a big concept. It was pretty canon, but it was a big concept as well. I've, at this point, cosplayed Usopp so much that I literally am just known on Instagram as Usopp's wife. I've cosplayed him a million times, a million different variations. I've got all of his outfits memorized off the top of my head, even though I'm not even caught up in One Piece. A shame. Terrible. I'm looking around my room. I have so many. I also have like notes posted because sometimes, guys, I come up with so many concepts that I forget them, and I'll see something in my room. I'll see a piece and I'm like, oh yeah, didn't I want to use that for so and so? I'm like, what character was that for? I had an idea for that and it just completely left my mind, because I think just as easy as it is for me to bring up concepts, is easy as them for to just leave me. Once the interest leaves me or once I move on to another show, it's anything. So you are Kaya from One Piece. Listen, don't talk to me about that girl. Listen, I ain't get into it. She better watch herself. But yeah, that's pretty much my time slot. I really want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank the AfrOtakus for giving me the opportunity and bearing with me, because like I said, I am so technologically bad, it doesn't make any sense. I hope to hear from everybody. I hope to see everybody over on my platforms. Like I said, you can follow me everywhere at Wangsabibop. I know it's a mouthful. I'm so sorry. It's a whole story behind it. But Twitter, Instagram, I'm on Twitch and I'm thinking about dabbling back into it. So check for me there as well. And I guess I'll catch you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the con. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. Wangsabibop out.